Hey, I'm Kai, and today I'm checking out the Warlow by Jupiter Effects. And what better way to see if it fits into my setup than a straightforward A/B comparison against my number one Big Muff. I've tried a bunch of different Big Muff clones on this channel, and nothing so far has been able to top the sound of this 2000 era Frantone Big Muff. Today I'm going to put the Jupiter Warlow through its paces and see just how well it stacks up. Now the Warlow is based on the Big Muff, though it does have some tweaks to make it a little bit more aggressive and a bit gnarlier. My hope here is that it's going to be able to take this Big Muff tone and elevate it just a little. I would like to mention as well that Jupiter pedals, especially this Warlow, are really reasonably priced. They're normally well below the typical boutique drive sort of pricing and more in the affordable range. The Warlow specifically is £130 here in the UK. Getting right into some tones now though, I've got my PRS S2, I'm running into the Fractal FM3 where I've got the high watt model loaded up on a clean edge of breakup kind of tone. I found that this is a really good spot for Big Muff style pedals especially. They can get quite shrill on a clean tone, and if you've got too much gain on the amp, they can sort of fold in on themselves a bit. So let's hear the raw tone that I've got running for this. As for the setup for this video, I've got both of the pedals set up on my desk with a switcher in the style of the JHS switchback that just lets me quickly A/B them. The Big Muff is currently dialed into my favourite sort of sweet spot setting, so I'll sweep around on the Warlow and see if I can get it to match. One thing I'm immediately noticing is that they sort of sit in a different tonal range, at least on this setting. While the Big Muff is really boomy and thick, the Jupiter is a lot more aggressive and snarly sounding. Let's hear a full riff on these back to back so that we can hear them a little bit better. The Warlow has definitely got more of a pointed focus in the mid-range, where you can sort of hear a resonant frequency, kind of like a cocked wah thing, but not that extreme. One of my least favourite things about the actual Big Muff is the fact that the sweet spot for my favourite settings is such a slim margin. While those settings are fantastic, everything outside of that kind of leaves a lot to be desired. It's sort of why I'm keen to shelve it, so let's hear what that's doing first. It's sort of muffled, a little bit gated sounding. Generally you don't have much note articulation whatsoever. And it's also still super distorted, which isn't great when you have the sustain on 0. So rather than try and match this tone, I actually want to see if the Warlow can improve on it. The switch on the Warlow takes it from a Big Muff filter up at the top to a Rat style filter at the bottom, and then the midpoint is a blend of the two. Typically, Rats perform much better for me at lower gain than Big Muffs, so we'll switch out to the Rat filter and see what that does. One thing I found specifically with the Warlow is that when you're on the rat filter setting, with the distortion down low, you don't get a ton of sweep out of the filter knob. It's definitely more articulate and less gainy than the Big Muff, but it does have a lot more of those fuzzy tones going on, and it does fold in on itself a little bit. I think the Warlow really suits more doomy style stuff when you have the gain down low, and I think it'd pair well with a boost. So I'm going to try both of them boosted and see what we can get out of it. For this, I'm going to use the Holy Island Audio Spectral Fire. This is a super clanky sounding overdrive pedal that can get nice and low gain, and it's also got a 3-band EQ, so you can push the mids up, which is particularly relevant when you're working with the Big Muff. I pushed the gain up on both pedals ever so slightly and dialed them in a little bit, but let's hear what they're both like boosted. I'm actually going to sweep around with the Warlow just a little bit more, because while I like it in isolation, I do think I'm preferring the Big Muff in this. So after dialing it in with the Warlow on the rat style filter section, I am preferring this one over the Big Muff, but it is much of a muchness really. They both have things I like and dislike about them. Again, the Warlow just sounds angrier. Let's also crank up the fuzz on both of these and hear what they're like boosted at a higher gain setting. Especially on those lower, chunky, palm muted tones, you can hear that the Big Muff is at its absolute limit and is getting super compressed and washed out. On the other hand, the Warlow feels like it's got plenty more to give and it feels tight under the hand. Or at least as tight as you can get with a Big Muff style pedal. One other thing that I want to do is see what it sounds like when the volume's up nice and high on the pedal. This is where some Doom fans may prefer the Warlow because it has a ton more output than the original Big Muff. I'll show you the two back to back and I won't compensate for the volume for the first time, but the second time around I will. Now let's hear it with the compensated volume. I do think the Warlow benefits from having the volume turned up quite a bit, though maybe not at full volume like this. Let me know what you think. Which did you prefer? I feel like, honestly, this one could go either way. Before I get into my full thoughts on this one though, you should know this is a sponsored video, as Jupiter have sent me out the Warlow to demo. Overall, I think the Warlow hits pretty much all of the same marks that the original Big Muff hits, and expands on it just a little bit as you might expect. The only thing it doesn't do is those super thick, blooming low frequencies, but then you'd probably cut those out of the guitar in any real-world use case scenario anyway. I'm not sure if this one's going to go straight onto my pedal board as the replacement for the Big Muff. I'm going to have to do some more tests and see how it fares. It does help as well that it's a little bit smaller than the regular Big Muff, so it's a little bit easier to fit on the board. I also really like the different filter options that it has available. I think that really opens up the scope of the pedal. So thanks for checking this video out, and I hope you found it useful. Don't forget to join my Discord if you haven't done so already. The link is in the description box down below, which is where you'll also find the Jupiter Effects website. That's all for this video though, so until next time, I've been Kai.